It's much more significant than the road team. So I think the Knicks can least afford to lose the first game tonight.
Big Perk?
The Knicks winning this series in 5. And listen, let me say this. It's no disrespect whatsoever to the Pacers. I think Rick Carlisle is a hell of a coach. Tyrese Haliburton has been balling. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner is one of the most underrated players in the league that we don't talk about enough. But the Knicks did take the Pacers to 7 games last year. Jalen Brunson was injured. Josh Hart, abdominal strain. OG Anunoby, hamstring. And then now all of those guys are healthy. You add Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, and guess what? You got home court advantage. Home court advantage matters in this postseason. Madison Square Garden is going to be rocking. The Knicks have made that a tough place to play in, especially after that Game 6 performance that they put on. Look, kudos, shout out to the Indiana Pacers. They did an outstanding job. Obviously, they knocked off the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the difference between the Cavs and the Knicks, the Cavs are soft. The Knicks are some dogs. And when you talk about big body Brunson, you talk about OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, those guys out there, those Rough Riders, and the way Tibbs is coaching, the Knicks are winning this series in 5. So I know that probably didn't answer the question that was put on that's across the topic board, but I had to get that off my chest.
That's a long-ass answer just to say you didn't answer the question. Let's get that out the way right now. I mean, you didn't have to add that last part where you said, I didn't answer the question. At least you could have answered the question. You don't take that long.
You said I'm allowed to give a
Go
long
ahead,
answer.
but you should have answered the question, though. How you going to say you didn't answer the question after that long-ass answer?
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say. The bottom line is this, y'all. Bottom line is this. You're being very disrespectful to the Indiana Pacers. Very disrespectful. I mean, Rick Carlisle is a champion. As much as we love Tibbs, Tibbs hasn't even coached in the finals as a head coach, okay? Rick Carlisle's a champion. So that's very disrespectful. That's number one. Number two, Miles Turner, Tyrese Haliburton, Neesmith, Nembhard, and these brothers, they can ball now. Mathurin, all right, Siakam, I even bring him up. They can ball now. Now, I know that Karl Anthony's averaging over 30 on 57% shooting against these brothers in the 3 games that they played. I know that the New York Knicks have scored over 120 points in each of those games. But what we're leaving out is that they had to. Indiana can score on anybody. I got the Knicks winning this series too. But I am not going to disrespect the Indiana Pacers by saying, oh, Knicks in 5, okay? I know my man OG Juan and the rest of the crew out there all tripping, talk about Knicks in 5, Knicks in 5. I'm not getting beside myself like that. I got the Knicks winning this series, but I think this series right here has 7 games written all over it. It might be in 6. New York Knicks, I can see the New York Knicks going to Indiana and winning a game 6, but I certainly am going to give the Indiana Pacers more than 1 game in this series. I would not disrespect them like that. I cannot.
Well, you didn't answer the question either, Hotshot. The question was, who, I mean, my God. You get
Look alive. Look alive. Okay.
Pay attention. I know it's 6:30 in the morning and you've had your egg sandwich. But be on top of it.
Where's your tea with milk and honey?
Ford can lose game 1. Pacers or Knicks? Give me an answer.
Thank you, Mad Dog.
The Knicks. The Knicks.
Okay. All right. We agree.
Hey,
and I'm with them too.
Big Body Perk.
Knicks in 7.
What's your answer?
Perk. Hello?
Which
Hello?
team can at least afford a game?
You're going to read the damn question. You're going to read the damn question. He did that on purpose, Molly. He did that on purpose, man. Come on, man.
I mean, I would say the Pacers. I would say the Pacers.
Because?
Oh?
The games on the first 2 games at Madison Square Garden. I think that they can afford to lose game 1. They just want to go back to Indiana 1-1. You understand? I think they can afford to lose it. But
okay,
I will give you this.
You know what? I think
have the edge because you did say that last night.
I think we need to go to commercial break. Everyone needs to just regroup, get a little caffeine,
We good.
and we'll revisit in about 4 minutes.
Mom.
Good.
No.
He was contained to the perimeter. His average shot distance was over 25 feet from the basket, which was by a wide margin the longest in any game in his NBA career, regular season or playoffs, by a margin of 2 feet. Here was Ant-Man after the game.
I definitely got to shoot more. I only took 13. shots. They remind me of like an AAU defensive team, just run and jump, fly around. So it was pretty good. Good to get it out of our system in game one. So we'll be ready for game two. We should be ready.
That'll be tomorrow night. Let's dive in here. We'll get to the win man in a second. But first, Coach, the first thing I said to you, we heard that sound this morning. And we said, what does that mean when he says they're playing AAU-style defense? We put together some tape of what they were doing to him in the paint last night.
Yeah, when you go and watch AAU basketball, it's a bunch of full-court press. It's a bunch of trapping. It's a bunch of smothering the basketball and your best defender or your best offensive player to get the ball out of his hands. You take a look at the film here, how many bodies there are guarding Ant Edwards when he's in isolation situations. Something different that the Thunder do is they bring their guy from the strong side corner, and they don't mind giving up those contested corner threes, but he never played a one-on-one game last night where he's so elite. Everything was one-on-3, one-on-4 with all eyes on him.
Outstanding. So, Windman, you were there in the arena. What did you see as far as OKC's defense against Anthony Edwards, who we talked about coming into this series as the man who should define it?
Yeah, so throughout the night, the Thunder players were all over him on the perimeter. And you can prepare for the Thunder defense. You can go over it and film. But until you actually see it, it can be a little bit disorienting. And throughout the game, his Ant Edwards' teammates were encouraging him, look to drive, look to drive. They're sitting on your right, go left. He just couldn't do it. When you face Alex Caruso, when you face Lou Dort, when you face Cason Wallace, and you see those guys fight over those screens, you don't get the space you normally get. You could tell Ant was a little bit uncomfortable. He only took one shot at the rim in this game. That is unheard of for him. The Thunder's defense scored 31 points off of turnovers. You're not going to beat them like that, especially when Ant is not having a prolific offensive game.
Look, for anyone who didn't follow OKC closely all year, I continue to say this. Look at the final defensive statistics in the NBA season. And it literally, number one in every meaningful category is the Thunder. And so here are the numbers. Minnesota took 51 threes last night. That is their most in a playoff game in franchise history by a wide margin. Just 13 shots for Anthony Edwards. So we sometimes will do a thing here. We call it bad game or bad sign. Did you think last night was just a bad game for Ant-Man and for the Timberwolves, or was it a bad sign of things to come?
I think it was a bad game. This is that feeling out, chess match, punch, counter punch situation. Now, if the same thing happens in game two, then you got some things to worry about. But I think what they felt is how the Thunder.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Lại là mình đây. Mình sẽ gửi đến các bạn những sản phẩm cắt dán đẹp hơn mỗi ngày, những sản phẩm tuyệt vời. Đấy, cốc trà sữa này, đây trên tay của mình đây là keo dán giấy này các bạn ạ. Và để tạo ra được những sản phẩm để tạo ra được những video cắt dán đẹp như thế này thì mình sẽ cần có những dụng cụ, những đồ vật để mình tạo nên. Đây, trước mặt của mình đây, trên tay mình đang cầm đây là những giấy thủ công màu các bạn ạ. Nó rất nhiều màu sắc luôn, các bạn có nhìn thấy màu sắc của nó. Đấy. Trên tay của mình đang cầm đây màu xanh này, màu xanh lá cây, màu vàng này các bạn ạ. Đây là màu đỏ. Đấy. Giấy màu cam này, giấy màu xanh này. Đấy. Mình rất nhiều những sản phẩm màu sắc. Đấy. Và để tạo ra được những sản phẩm đẹp và ý nghĩa thì mình cần có một cây bút và chiếc kéo này, kéo để cắt này, hồ dán để dán những sản phẩm vào với nhau để cho nó đa dạng màu sắc, tạo nên điểm nhấn cho sản phẩm. Và còn những dụng cụ bổ trợ cho mình như là đây là chiếc chân kẹp điện thoại này. Chân kẹp điện thoại, đây chiếc điện thoại để mình quay lại quá trình mình tạo ra video. Đèn hỗ trợ ánh sáng này các bạn ạ. trợ ánh sáng. Và kênh của mình thì cũng rất may mắn đã nhận được nút bạc từ YouTube các bạn này. Trên nút bạc này mình cũng đã nhận được quãng thời gian gần đây rồi. Đó là thành quả của mình nha. Thành quả rất chi là mỹ mãn các bạn này. Khi mình tạo ra những sản phẩm thật là viral đây. Sau khi mình cắt dán xong video, mình sẽ tải video lên máy tính của mình nha. Trên máy tính của mình thì có phần mềm Camtasia để chỉnh sửa. Mình sẽ ưu tiên chỉnh sửa trên Camtasia.